Hello, I'm Daniela. In today's video, I'm going to share with you the August prompt for Stitch With Me in 2023. All previous prompts can be linked below. The idea is to create a piece using slow stitching, or of course you can use any media you like, to create a prompt that explains the word or what it means to you. And you can take liberties with that as well. You can make variations on the word. I have a Facebook group where you can post your results and you can do your explanation of why you chose that and what it means to you. So let's get started with the August prompt right away. The prompt is ring. It's a very interesting word. You can have a lot of fun with it. And if you look it up in the dictionary, you'll find lots of definitions and applications for the word. Let me show you what I did with mine. Now, rings are so interesting because there's rings like the jewelry for your finger or hoops for your earrings. There's the ring that they put through the animal's nose, like the pig or the livestock. There's a boxing ring or a onion ring, and then there are Olympic rings, and there's all these different rings. There's also the rings of a phone, kind of like the chimes of a phone, or there's rings like a gang of people is sometimes a ring, like a bunch of thieves can be considered a ring. I'm going to do the rings from a planet. I have this beautiful fabric here. It's gray, it's got little stars and a moon, kind of looks like a drawing. And then I looked up Saturn and it said that it was kind of yellow and hazy or beige. So I found this yellow fabric. I think I might use this opposite side. Maybe I'll color it with some colored pencils or markers, just to give it a little shadow. And also, when I was looking through my fabric stash, I found these little sequins that I have. I don't use them very often, but they're in little star shapes. I thought, oh, that'd be cute to add to the background. So I'm going to start, again, using my background fabric, and I just want to cut the fabric to the size for my card here. So I can just cut it. And I'll tear it. This, play around with it how I like it, and then cut it again and tear that. So I have my background fabric here to use for my piece. And now I want to decide what size circle I want for my planet. So I have my circle template here. I kind of want it big, but not so big. I want those rings to really show up. So I think I'll use this shape. So 1.5 inches or 38.1 millimeters. Just take my marker, trace that circle. Now I can cut it out and place it right on my little card here. Just cut the circles. I like to really just gently squeeze the scissors and rotate the fabric, trying to follow that line as a guide. Put my card aside, and I'll just make this a little higher than normal so it's not quite in the center of my piece. And then I'll just pin it right in place. Now I have one strand of embroidery floss here with a yellow fabric, and I'm just going to stitch all the way around the perimeter here, making small little stitches. This is just designed to tack it down. So now I stitched around that circle, quite happy with the way that looks. So now I just want to shade it a little bit. And I have two colored pencils here. One is called Mineral Orange and one is Cool Gray. And I'm just going to very lightly shade it on the bottom here. This is where I want the shadow to be. So I'm just going to kind of brush it on, just little gentle strokes. And I'm kind of going to do this in a reverse C shape. So right at 1 o'clock till about 7 or 8 o'clock, and just around the corner here. It's very subtle. I'm not looking to color it in. Just give a little shadow here. Don't even want a hard line. And then I'll take that gray and just go on the outer area. Just enhance that. It's a slight effect. Can go darker if I wanted to, but I'm kind of happy with that. It's just a very subtle effect. So now I'm ready to start with my rings. I just want the rings to come out from behind and go across and down. So I'll only sketch that one ring on. And now I think I'll start with this brownish gray here. It's whatever I had left over in my stash. I don't know the number. It's kind of greenish brown. So I'm going to actually stitch a Portuguese stem stitch for this because I like the way it looks like a rope, a twisted rope. So I'm going to come here following that guide that I stitched, and I create my first stitch. And when I come down, I don't come down all the way. I leave it a little loose. And then I'm going to come up through that stitch, leaving just a little gap between the first area where I started the stitch and the stitch. And then I pull it snug. And then I'm just going to go through that little area on the right 2 times, just weaving through that area, not through the fabric. And now I'll create that other stitch, again going in line with the marks that I made. I continue to leave that little loop going down, and I stitch just towards the end. I come up and I'm going to stitch twice through that little area that I left on the side. Now I have a more involved video on my channel, but now I'm going to start to change that loop around. So I want my stitch to come down just a little bit. I'll come up partway through the stitch, pull it snug, and stitch around that little section. And now I'm going to turn that stitch. So now I'm going in the different direction. I still want that loop facing down. I'm going to come up over here and again stitch 2 times in that little area. And then I continue my stitching all the way across. So I make my stitch, keep that little loop loose, and then I stitch over here. And I'll continue stitching all the way around here. So I finished my first ring, and I'm going to come in there with my second ring. This is more of a pinky hue. And I'm going to do the exact same thing, except I'm not going to go behind the planet. I'm just going to stitch right beneath it here. And I'm going to use that same stitch. So I'll start here. I can always go back in and add a stitch if I wanted. Come up partway through for my stem stitch, and then stitch down. And I just want to go through that pink embroidery floss, not through the embroidery floss above it. And I'll just continue this stitch all the way around, and I'll do the same thing for my third ring with gray. And then from there I'll see where my card is and what else I'd like to add to it. All right, so I finished stitching my rings. It's a very simple one, this card here. But to add a little more bling here, I'm just going to stick in some stars. So I'll start up top here with one. I have just one strand of gold embroidery floss here, kind of a yellow gold, not a metallic gold. I'll just stitch up through the center of this little sequin and stitch down one side, come up another side, and stitch down the center. I'll knot the back, and I'll stitch a few more of these, just scattering them throughout, maybe an odd number, maybe 5 or so. So I'll just knot this on the back. And I'm not even going to bother to take it out. I just want to knot it so that it's nice and strong and secure in there. And I'll stick another star over here. And just play with it until I have enough stars on that to really look very much like an outer space or a galaxy effect. So I have Saturn here with the rings, and I did 7 little stars. I'm really happy with the way that looks. It's very simple, particularly compared to some other tags. So now all I have to do is tack it on my tag just with a few little stitches, and I should be all done. So that's my completed card for August. I'll write the title and the date and just put it right here in my supply so that it's all set for binding at the end of the year. See you back here again next month for the September prompt. So that's how I created the August prompt for Stitch With Me in 2023. There were lots of directions I could have gone with the term ring, but this is the one I chose. I really enjoyed making something from outer space. If you'd like to share your work, please do so on our Facebook group. It's a really supportive environment. I look forward to seeing you for next month's prompt. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. And please consider becoming a paid member of my channel, where I share behind-the-scenes footage, some community posts, as well as a library of slow stitching techniques. Thanks for joining me today.